The second paragraph of the Declaration is one of the most amazing set of phrases ever written. It is the creed of what makes America, and now what makes the aspirations of many people around the world. Let's just read that first sentence of the second paragraph, which is just awesome. It's, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal.
All men are created equal.
All men are created equal.
NBC News has confirmed that Senator Elizabeth Warren is ending her bid to become the Democratic presidential nominee after a poor showing on Super Tuesday. She has so far amassed only 50 delegates, according to NBC. NBC says that Warren will be announcing her decision on a call with her campaign staff at 11 a.m. She'll talk to the press after that. But again, Senator Elizabeth Warren now dropping out of the race.
Sometimes progressive men, when it comes to their voice, they don't give you, when they feel you have an opinion, they're not really, they start ganging with each other as men against women because they think they know better. And it comes very not unorganized and not direct, but it's very subtle. It's like we men and we know, though we are progressive and we're trying to think together of the future of the country, you know? But it happens very subtly. It's not explicit.
Sure.
I don't know how it's like here.
I feel like it's more in the fact too that like I've been silenced. Like even if I like will speak up, like it's not heard in the room. Like, you know what I mean? Like there have been so many times where I've like also observed this too, where like a girl will say something and like people will like literally act like she's dumb, and I'm like, oh, but she's not dumb though. Like if a guy said that, they'd be like ho ho ho, but like they're just like, oh my god, she's stupid because she's a girl, and I'm like, what? It's just, but anyway, but that would happen to me in like rooms that like I would hope I had power in.
But I don't know, but I don't know how it's here. But back home, because also back home, not everyone has internet, not everyone has smartphones, so there is still this gap between what's taking place on the social media and what's happening on the
If you look at things like online, right, that are like trending or like spreading, how many people is it really reaching, right? Because you say like, oh, 100,000. That's like only a fraction of like the world, right? That's only like a teeny, like tiny little population. You have to think about like who has access to things. So it's like not everyone has like broadband internet. Like that's what we should be like stressing, and not everyone has access to like a phone or like a tablet or like something like that. Like we should be pushing like for access to those things.
But basically not in Cairo, not in central Cairo, but in rural Cairo. So basically we worked with women to nominate themselves for we call them the People's Assembly, like the Congress. So we outreached women, we conducted awareness sessions with them, and then we supported them with the agenda to be able to nominate themselves as women, because it's a male-dominated people. I don't know how it's like here, but it's male-dominated.
And I wonder what your message would be to the women and girls who feel like we're left with two white men to decide between.
I know. One of the hardest parts of this is all those baby promises and all those little girls who are going to have to wait 4 more years. That's going to be hard.
Okay, well, I am like studying musical theater, and I remember when I was like 17, my mom looked at me and goes, well, you should have a backup for like when your body like doesn't work anymore. Like, what are you going to do? And in my brain, I didn't realize yet, like, kind of, like, how messed up that is, like, to say. But, like, she didn't either. She was just trying to, like, be, like, a good mom. Like, she was just trying to be, like, are you, like, prepared for this, right? Like, are you, like, a bit about how hard it's going to be? And I don't think I really was because of, like, where I'm at right now. And, like, and also, too, I feel like when it comes, like, from your parents, they're just trying to, like, protect you for, like, the world that they see. And the world is not accessible at all. So when they saw me, like, gearing up to go, like, what we all want to tell our children is you can do whatever you want, even though you're disabled, because that's what the world is, like, supposed to be. But then you go, and there's no way for me to complete a curriculum with crutches, like, in, like, every school. Like, I had to drop out of school immediately as soon as my, like, symptoms got worse. I'm, like, in the middle of a year off right now.
It was when I was 5 years old, and I heard my grandmother talk awfully about black people. And, I mean, it had a great effect on my life because I loved my grandmother very much, and I always did, but I knew she was so wrong, and I was just a little girl.
So my mom was in a doctor's office, and there was this man of Latino descent as well, and the nurses and the doctors were struggling to communicate with him because they weren't sure what had happened. My mom stepped in right away and said, you know, I speak Spanish, I can translate for him. And he was injured at work. He was a construction worker. He injured his foot using some kind of, you know, whatever construction devices that they use. And his employer was refusing to pay medical bills. Obviously, he was hurt because he did not have his citizenship. He was undocumented. I must have been like 10 years old, and I saw everything happening because I was with my mom at the doctor. And she spoke to me and said, you know, this is why it's so important for you to speak Spanish, because we have to be the translators. We have to help our people. We have to be there for them. And she didn't know this man, but she was able to help, and it was her, she felt like it was her responsibility.
You know, like I was 20 or 21 when Ms. Magazine was started, when the word Ms. came out. Like when I got married, I was working in a daycare center in the Marble Hill houses on 225th Street and Broadway. So I went to work that day. We went to City Hall and got married. On a day when the construction workers were taking over Lower Manhattan to protest immigrant labor in 1975. But anyhow, I didn't tell anybody I was going. I told my director as we were going home together, because we went home on the train together. She told the payroll, the woman who worked in the office, and she changed my name on my Social Security card without my permission to my new name, because women didn't. I wanted to keep my name, which I use. My name is Falk, but on my health insurance, it's my husband's name.
Wow.
Because that was the norm then. That's what you did. And when I had my kids, and I would go to parent conferences, and I'd say, you know, my name is Beverly Falk, and this, somebody would say, oh, are you divorced? That's what a teacher would say to me, because my name was different than my kids'. And I remember when we were at City Hall, I said to the judge who married us, like, what do I do about my name? I want to keep my own name. And he, like, yelled at us and told us to leave.
Mom was against totally that I would travel to Cairo. She says, no, keep the money, you stay here and you get married. You don't need, my dad was you need, because the more girls get educated, the more it would be difficult to get married. For me, at 16 years old, saying no, I want to go Cairo and go and study in the American university, which for her this means I'll be into this corrupted world where my identity will be lost and who I am. And at the same time, my mom was sending my brother to the States every summer to work and to do other stuff. So, yeah.
And I remember when I was like 17.
It was when I was 5 years old.
I must have been like 10 years old.
You know, like I was 20 or 21.
At 16 years old, this is when I realized I'm a woman and I need to do something about it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I definitely consider myself a feminist. I decided to bring my daughter to the Women's March, and she was only about a month old. I remember my sister-in-law calling me and saying, hey, me and my sister were going to the Women's March if I wanted to go. And I said, definitely, I'm there. I think it's so important to take pictures and bring my daughter and show her that this is what we stand for. This is important to me. So my stroller was actually decked out in Women's March posters and pins, and all of that was on there, you know, representing why are we here? We're supporting each other. It's so important to educate our children on the past women, the women that have been, you know, paving the way for us as, you know, the suffragettes before us. And it's important for us to educate our children on that.
Once a woman was beaten up by the police. She was fucked up. She was wearing, there's something called a very black long dress. From the beat up, they took off her clothes and she was wearing the blue bra. It's called the blue bra lady. I would look for articles and such.
Oh, wow.
And everyone on social media was talking about why she was not wearing why she's wearing a blue bra under her dress, and she was trying to seduce someone and not putting enough. She was not wearing anything under the dress except her underwears. So, and everyone just started ignoring. She'd been beaten up by the police because she was walking in a demonstration.
The police did that?
Yes. And they were pulling her on the floor. So it's just crazy. I mean,
that's awful.
Yeah. So
someone wearing something under their clothes.
Yeah, exactly. She should have not went out to demonstrate, and she should have been aware of what she wears under her clothes before going down, which is fuck me in the head.
I'm not normally a protester, but it does get pretty scary out there sometimes.
How so? Like, what did you see, or what have you experienced?
When I say scary, I mean the politics of taking women's rights away, reproductive rights, which are having, being a woman. You know, we made all these strides, and now we have an administration that wants to roll everything back. So it was really important.
It's like instead of moving forward, it's moving backwards.
Way back, yeah.
I tried to reach out to people. It was I found out that my paycheck at a theater company that I was working at. I found out that my paycheck was half of what my male coworkers was. And I confronted the theatrical director, and he called out my work and my work ethic and said that it was on me and my fault, and said that any other theater company would do the same thing. And I actually wrote to a newspaper. And I wrote to 2 different newspapers, and I said, look, this place did this, and they actually did it to 2 other different casts too. It happened before. Because other people had reached out to me, and nothing ever happened. Nothing came of it.
No one from the newspaper responded?
No.
Do you think that this coincides with political change in the way that people treat how much they want to take on, like, activism-wise? It's almost like, why even try, right? Like, if I couldn't
I think I was discouraged because of what had happened before.
It's like, if I can't take down David, how the hell am I going to
take down Goliath? Yeah.
Well, shifting, to today's current political climate, is there something that surprises you about the way the current generation is now engaging in activism?
I think it's great. I think the upside of all these, of everything that's going on, is that people are being more active and speaking out, and you know, there's always like, it's like a renewal of a re-look at like our whole history. I think our whole history is being looked at in terms of racism and oppression. I think women are being, feminism is having like a renewal. Things that we took for granted that were just normative when I was growing up are no longer considered okay.
I think that a lot of women around the country right now feel differently about you dropping out. Whether or not they were supporting you specifically for president, you leaving the race feels different. I mean, I think part of what's going on today is that women around the country are like, okay, honestly, let's get real. Is it just that it can't be any woman ever? Are we just going to run, you know, white men in their late 70s against each other, both parties, and that's all we can agree to do? I think there's a feeling that your campaign ending is very specific to you, and it also feels a little bit like a death knell in terms of the prospects of having a woman for president in our lifetimes.
Oh God, please no. That can't be right. I know exactly what you're talking about. This cannot be the right answer. And part of the way I know it is not the right answer is that I walked through my headquarters today and I saw all those strong, powerful women. I saw all those women who said, thank you for standing up to Michael Bloomberg. I saw all those women who said, thank you for being smart and making that okay. Thank you for talking over men sometimes, because I'm just damn tired of always having it go the other way. It's one of the hardest parts about this. All those pinky promises, all those little girls, we're gonna do this. It's just gonna be a little longer before we're able to have a woman in the White House. But it doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. It doesn't mean it's not gonna happen soon. Here's how I see this. You get in this fight, you know when you go into it, there were multiple people who just said, this will be part of the problem. But you get in the fight because you just gotta keep beating at it until you finally break the thing. We can't lose hope, because the only way we make change is we get back up tomorrow and we get back in the fight. We persist. That is how we make change.